Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition on our segment Hard Hats and Hard Truth. Michael, you got to stop doing that shit.
I know. I like starting with a laugh.
Every time we go into, just so everyone knows why I somewhat giggle or try and choke up not giggling is because Michael makes fart noises as we're counting down to go live.
No, base. So base.
Ridiculous. How old are you? 5?
Sometimes.
Okay, so we're going to play a little catch up. So I got the opportunity, the privilege of meeting Red,
Yep. She's great.
and she's amazing.
Mhm.
She's so fun, and I love how she's so engaged in having conversations with us and being a part of it, and just like, fuck, you won the lottery there, hey bud.
Little bit. Little bit. Little bit. Pretty
I mean, if
happy.
we're being honest, she won the lottery too. You're pretty decent, dude.
I'm decent. I'll call myself decent. I can live with that.
I have to be careful what I say because everybody will be like, "Do you like Michael?" Well, I mean, like in doses.
And bits. Bits and bites. Yeah.
Nah, I love you to death. You and I have been on my podcast journey for 2 years, and we've done
Years.
lots of different things and integrated business aspects and ideas and innovations together, and we continue to do that, and we continue to grow as somewhat of a team on one side. There are a few people in your very small circle that you
Mm.
hold close and will help develop in different ways, and I'm grateful to be a part of that little tiny circle, so thank you.
I'm happy you're part of it.
Thank you.
It works. It works. And when
Okay,
it
so
doesn't work, pivot and make it work.
we'll force this shit.
That's it.
Okay,
Square peg,
so
round hole. Hammer.
what's that?
Square peg, round hole, hammer. That's it. When something doesn't work, hammer it.
Sound like a typical trades guy. It's a good thing
Yep.
we're on Devil's Advocate Trades Edition.
Hard hats.
Right? Okay. So when we last left off, we told the listeners that we were happy to talk about grants and support programs inside of Canada and how that looks for
Mhm.
when people are hiring people out of country or people that are coming into the country and required to get all of these different things when these subsidies kind of fall off, if they
Right.
do. And so it's kind of one of those interesting thing. So I'll tell you, I did print off some stuff because when I worked for a company, we had to do the LMIA program, which is Labor Market Impact Assessment, which
Mhm.
is everything is the owner of the company's responsibility. You have to pay for an immigration lawyer. You have to make sure all their visas are in order. You have to, and that's like $1,000 just to get the
Yep.
paperwork in order. Not the lawyer too, $1,000 to the government. At least here in Alberta, that's what it is. When I was doing it. And then you have to pay a lawyer up and above on that to make sure everything's done properly, filed properly, and you do everything through the law office. The
Yep.
next part about that is that they dictate. So the government dictates how much you pay this individual based on title. Okay. Which for me was very eye-opening because we hired a guy from Mexico and he had a background in horticulture.
Yep.
And he was amazing at vegetation, just understanding the entire aspects of being a horticulturist. Like he had the education, but the
Right.
government wouldn't allow us to pay him as a horticulture. They'd only allow us to pay him as like a landscaper at like the max he could get was $21 an hour, which was to me fucking gross. Like he should have been
Right.
paid closer to 40 because of his background. So we'd fight with the government.
That's
We'd
fun.
fight a little bit, we'd fight. But if you want to increase them, have to go through the government. And if you're found in non-compliance, they'll go after your passports, they'll go after all your shit, they'll blacklist you. It's fucking horrible. So if you're going to bring people into this country and you're going to pay for their visas and you're going to be responsible for them, be aware of what your consequences are if you decide you're going to you're going to go rogue, as they would call
Right.
it. So be careful with that. So that is just an aspect of it. It's not the whole meat and potatoes. It's just like, I've just given you the steak part.
Yeah.
There's still potatoes to go with that dish. So if you're looking to bring people into the country, I
Mm.
suggest you go and consult a lawyer, an immigration lawyer. And I know a
Yeah.
great one. His name is Michael Green.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
He was a lawyer I use and he was great. He was fantastic.
Yep.
Super nice guy.
He's
So,
still in the same business, I assume.
oh yeah. Oh
Yep.
yeah. Well, funny story. Okay, so you know about the Humboldt accident in
So.
Saskatchewan where the bus that was carrying all of those hockey players,
Oh yes. Yes.
okay.
Yes. Yep.
So he's the lawyer for the individual that was driving the rig.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, um, as you know, my good friend Greg isn't in disagreement with the guy staying in the country. He's like, I'm a trucker. I know what he
Right.
went through. He's like, it's not an easy intersection. What
Yep.
he did wasn't right, but how many of you have blown a stop sign and you can get across? He's
Yeah.
driving a Super B. It's a shit area. He's like, I'm not excusing the behavior. I'm not excusing what he did. But here's one thing that I will tell you that I will stand behind. And this is what Greg said. And I love Greg for this. He said, how many Canadians would stand up in court and say, I fucked up? How many would pay lawyers to say, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty? He pled guilty. He said,
Right.
I fucked up. Here's all the things that I was going through, regardless of whether they matter or not. I was set up to fail, and I accept that failure ended in, and this was the result of that failure, and I accept the consequences for that. And
Yep.
Greg's like, there's no fucking Canadian that will do that. Most Canadians don't do that. They're like, oh, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. We're going to drag out everything when they could just say, yeah, you know what? I rolled a stop,
Mhm.
right? They'll fight tooth and nail. They'll right fight. So Greg's like, that's where I have the most respect for him, is that he was willing to stand there and say, yeah, my actions have partly to do with what happened.
Yep. All
Because
actions have
even if
consequences.
even if he didn't see the bus, because it's rolling hills, right? In
Yep.
that area. And the stop is right at a crest of a hill. So
Oh, jeez.
there's other, like, I mean, we could talk about just a quick tidbit on this, where my question is unfortunately this person can't defend themselves. The bus driver, how fast was the bus driver going?
Interesting
Has
question.
he
I don't
driven
know.
that
I
route
mean, I've
before?
never
Does
looked
he know
into
that
it, but
there's a stop there? Does he know that that is a major trucking route? Do you know how many times Greg has driven that as a trucker? Like,
lots.
he's always driving this. And, like, I remember he'd call me after the Humboldt accident, and he's like, "I had to pull over." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because I'm coming to the stop sign of the Humboldt accident. I had to pull over." He's a hockey player. He
Right.
was an officiant for hockey. So to him, this was like, it was really fucking tragic for him. So he's like, he'd had to pull over a few times and just fucking breathe through it just to even get through that intersection. So it's horrible. Shit happens,
Wow.
right? Anyways, Michael Green. There we go.
Michael Gray. That's Michael Gray.
Okay. So we're talking about this, and we looked up, because I mean, we want to try and be as straight as possible. So we looked up the Canadian government of Canada, so grants, contributions in support of resettlement assistance programs. So this talks about, so the resettlement assistance program is called RAP, or the
Yep.
Department of Citizenship Immigration Act, and the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, the RIPA.
Mhm.
And then Michael, you had another one?
Yeah. Then there's also the Urgent Protection Program, so UPP.
So is that like
So
asylum?
yeah, so this is for refugees under threat of being returned home or expulsion, of facing direct threats for their lives, that type of stuff.
Okay.
Then there's also the IFHP, so
Okay.
which is the Interim Federal Health Program, which was one of the things we loosely talked about in the last one.
Mhm.
Then there's so many of them. Then there's GAR, which is the immediate support for RAP. So this is for more for like your skilled trades and that type of stuff.
Yep.
So under that allows for resettlement of it up to 250 human rights defenders and their families annually is what they're kind of doing with that. And then one that is closed currently to new applicants is the Economic Mobility Pathways Pilot. Like, and I just keep finding more and more and more, but the navigation around all this is really messy.
Mhm. I'm noticing that too. And there's no real, so in Alberta, in Alberta, they have a cap.
Right.
They're like, you should be able to get yourself fucking figured out in a year, and then we're
Yep.
done supporting you. So Alberta, we're a little bit more like, pull your fucking bootstraps up and get to work. If you can't find work after a year of us helping you,
Yep.
it sounds like a fucking you problem.
Well, that's
So
where, and some of these that I read, where it says support can last up to 1 year from the date of arrival in Canada, or until the refugee is able to support himself or herself, whichever happens first. So
okay.
that could be forever.
So there's also 7A maximum amount payable. So 7.1A subject to 7.2A, the maximum contribution for a RAP client shall not exceed 85,000 a year. How
That's a
many people
lot.
do you know even make fucking 85,000 a year? Shouldn't you be paying that to our fucking veterans?
Yeah, I think veterans should get that.
Yeah, right. And then it says it gets better. It gets better.
Mhm.
7.2a, the maximum contribution for wrap clients demands as exceptional as defined in 6.3a on a case by case basis by department officials shall not exceed 150 per year, subject to ministerial approval. 150 a year? That's a two income household.
That's two income household.
That's
Yep.
a two income household. And that's not everybody.
Nope.
Like you got to be making at least 170 or you got to be making at least 75 each. Not everybody's making that. Most people are making 50,
Mhm.
50 to 65,000 and then the other person's making between 75 and 90,000. And that's only if you're in we're talking this is just trades we're talking about. What do you think those fucking administrators are getting paid? Do you think they're getting paid 80K?
Yep. Well, the
No.
median. So I just looked it up. I don't know. Again, I've not actually pulling it from a stat site, but just a quick look. The median individual income is 42,000 to 45,000 annually. So
Right?
this program is double the median income. Why isn't it the median income?
Right? Agreed. Oh,
Why? Well,
Canada,
wait.
you got some splaining to do.
Well, why is there anything? Why is there
No.
anything?
I agree. I mean, like how many like Michael, we have in our families alone, like both of our families, we
Yep.
have immigrant parents that immigrated to Canada
Yep.
with not fucking more than a few bucks in their pocket and built a
And made it
life.
happen.
Yeah. They married a Canadian.
Yeah. Well, mine were both. Mine were both. So they didn't marry in or anything, but
Oh, see, my dad married a true Canadian, is my mom's Acadienne, right? So she's
right.
part Acadienne, which is like Cape Breton and like years of lineage, you know?
Right.
I'm sure everybody in Cape Breton is like, I'm sure we're related somehow.
But then inside of the rap program, it's not just because I didn't helping people out is great. I do believe in that there should be some social care
100%.
there,
100%.
but money is probably not the answer. Services could be the answer. It could be like,
And they
here's your
talk about
house,
that.
here's your employment training,
Yeah. For
right? But
3
not just like
months. Yeah.
here's money to go buy a new car. Like they'll just go buy a new car. You're like, what? How's that helping?
That's my point. It's like you're creating a spoiled child. So
Mhm.
it's like, I agree with you. It's like, okay, you come here for the next 3 months. This is where you live. You don't have to
Yep.
worry about utilities or any of that. We'll make
None.
sure that you have a small income for groceries and whatnot. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And for 3 months, you are coming to our education program to help you learn English and
Mhm.
to gain a skill,
Let's get a job.
right? To gain a skill in order to do a job, whatever that might look
Mhm.
like, right? And like that those are the two biggest hurdles.
Yep.
Learning English and or French, wherever
Mhm.
you want to
Or
land,
other. Yep.
English or French, and then learning a skill, whether that's
Mhm.
doing all of your administrative, whether that's doing, because I mean, there's so many compacted courses that they could have a really good basis, like a start. So you
Yep.
could come in as like a junior, but I mean, as you go, because if you're, and it, I feel bad for the people that have degrees that are coming over and they're not recognized. To me, that's horrible. At that point, it should be your degree will be recognized once you're able to comprehend and speak the language,
Yep.
right? Because we want you to apply your education, but how do you apply your education if you're not speaking the native language of the country? Right. So that's where I kind of get a little sticky with them. It's like when you're bringing people over and this person's got an engineering background, this person's got a doctorate, and this person's got, you know what I mean? It's like, why aren't we acknowledging that?
Right.
Because I'll be honest with you, that's what was going on with, like, even of just pulling back to the Humboldt accident. They had education in their countries. It wasn't recognized. So had it been recognized, he wouldn't have been driving truck.
Very true.
Hate to say that, but
Well,
let's be straight.
that was just on CP24 the other day. So coming up on the ticker on the bottom, right? Like it's just like all this unregulated stuff that's happening in logistics, for example, where
Yep.
you've got people because nobody can keep up with it. There's such an influx
Yeah.
that they can't even keep up with it. So you've got people out on the road that probably shouldn't be out on the road. Right.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at Canada now, like I mean, of course, I just pulled it up, but it's like a 6.9% unemployment rate in Canada. That's
Why?
crazy.
Why?
Why? Everyone that I know is hiring. Everybody's trying to hire, but they can't find anybody.
No,
And how are you
it's
not
not that
able
they
to
can't
find
find
anybody?
anybody. It's that they can't
So
find
then they
anybody
go,
qualified.
oh,
Yeah.
or they'll just go over here because they get the subsidies.
They can't find anybody qualified or anybody who is ready, willing, and capable. Right. That is the main objective in any employer. Ready, willing,
Yeah.
and capable. Are you ready, willing, and capable to address your tasks and come to work on time? Not, I want you to start at 8 and you roll in at 8:15 or 8:05.
Right.
It's not, we're not doing that. And I don't think that employers should expect less than that. I think that if it's 8 o'clock, I would get bajiggity, but you and I grew up where you're like, if you're 15 minutes early, you're late.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So we were always like half an hour to 15 minutes early. Why? Because we wanted to jaw with our coworkers. We wanted to start up our computer. We wanted to fucking get a coffee. We wanted to fucking whatever. And then 8 o'clock hit, and then we were at our desk doing our thing. But we weren't waiting for everything to boot. So this new generation that's out is more like, I'm coming at 8. Okay, but then you're taking time to start your computer, you're taking time to do this, you're taking time to do that. And they're like, but you're not paying me to be here earlier than that. So that's when I'm
Mhm.
coming. And I want to argue it, but I can't because I'm like, it's fair. It's fair. It's not how I grew up. I wanted to come in and socialize with the people that I worked with. I wanted to catch up. I wanted to have a coffee and I wanted to get everything started so that when I sat down, I was working.
Right.
But that's me. That's how I grew up. I'm not upset about that. Whereas the other ones, I'm like, I get it. Your shift starts at 8, come at 8. But if you're 1 minute fucking late, I'm gonna write you up.
Jeez.
I'm just I'm just kidding. But seriously, if you want to walk through the door at 8 o'clock, that's fine.
Yep.
Walk through the door at 8 o'clock. You want to start up your computer, you want to do all that. That's your choice. Because if those are your hours based off compensation, I'm not going to argue you on it. We're
Right.
just different that way. I'm never not going to show up 15 to half an hour early. It's never not going to be a thing for me. If it is, it's because I'm running behind because other things have stopped me from getting there at a certain time.
Yep.
Very
But I mean, it's
seldomly is
also a
it
lot
me.
different because we're in private sector, right? And one thing we have to remember is, almost 1 in 5 Canadians, well, actually more than 1 in 5 Canadians, because it's now like almost 22% of Canadians work in public sector, right? So I think a lot of these decisions are made to subsidize really public sector, right? So you're just like, I don't know if it's really built for private sector. I mean, it rolls over because it's available to everybody, but that's a huge notable amount of people. Like
Yeah.
22%.
Yeah. Huge.
That was early 2026. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So why aren't people wanting to work more? My kids are young and they're like, Mom, can I get a job? And I was like,
Right.
yeah, I'm sure they have. I mean, you can start working as of the age of 12, but
Yep.
nobody wants to hire before
Nope.
16. Nobody wants to hire.
There was a new rule, and I can't remember what it was. Something about communications, and if they use AI for that type of stuff,
Mhm.
you have to disclose how much you're hiring for. You can't leave it open. You have to get back to people to let them know the position's been filled. Like there's all these new rules that came out on January 1st. And I known people who have gone and they've applied for jobs and they've never heard back. So there's a lot of people not following these rules.
Me
Yeah.
too. You know what? So I applied to sit on a board for the tribunal, which is government. It's through the red tape reduction, and I haven't heard
Mhm.
anything back, and we're now May.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm
And you're
like,
like,
aren't you
but
guys supposed to notify me?
they are,
So
right?
I'm actually going on a call with them today, so I'm gonna ask them.
Yeah, I would. I would.
Yeah. So
So it's
crazy.
just, I think, so it was written into the Employment Standards Act. So to
Okay.
aim to increase transparency and reduce barriers for newcomers. Again, this was all built for newcomers. It wasn't built to protect Canadians. It was built for newcomers. It literally says that. And you're like, why? I mean, yes, it does work for everybody or supposed to, but these are things that should have just been naturally in play, right? And the whole idea was to make sure that they were actually going and trying to find candidates,
Mhm.
right? Rather than saying, oh, we couldn't find anybody, so now we need the subsidies, right? Which is what a lot of places were doing. Like you're telling me, like I saw ads for like job postings for Subway for $38 an hour.
What?
They're like, oh, we couldn't find anybody. You couldn't
I'm
find. You
going to
got
fucking
no
Subway for
applicants.
$38.
Yeah, I'll relocate.
Fuck, right?
Right,
I mean, I
send one of
make
my
more
nieces and
than that,
nephews.
but let's be realistic. Like, I know that my skill, I would be grossly under fucking paid for what I do, but at that point, I'm making sandwiches, so 38 sounds like a fucking rich deal. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm like,
Well, you're a sandwich
hmm,
artist.
push
You're a sandwich artist.
snow,
Yeah.
do landscaping for 26, or make sandwiches for 38. What to do?
But I've seen these job posts, and you're like, nobody applies for this. Like, the job post is like 8 months old. You're like, how is that position not filled at $38?
Right? It's
I
probably
don't
because they're trying
believe
to
you.
get you to bite, and then they're like, "Oh, it's only like $18 an hour or $20 an hour," and you're like,
Right, which is again is part of that transparency, right? So you have to
"Right,
actually put that salary range in,
no fair."
right? So which means that that becomes part of the offer letter. It should be anyway. Right? They have to say the job postings must clarify that they're for real and the active vacancy. Like so, all this stuff has to have all this transparency.
I agree.
But I'm
I
not
agree.
seeing it. I'm not seeing anybody follow this. I know people who are dealing with this. They're not. Nobody's getting back to them.
I don't know.
I think there's a lot of dirty pool happening at the corporate level.
I don't disagree with you. I'm like, there's always more to the story. There's always more to the story. It's like, it's like even with fairy tales, like when you get older and then you reread the fairy tale that was read to you 1,000 times and you
Right.
see it completely differently and you're like, oh, that's a problem, Like, and then I always laugh when I see these like reels that come on and they talk about how girls were conditioned to accept less. Just look at Disney. And,
Right.
and I'm like, mm,
Not wrong.
right? So there's that. But now, okay, so what do we want to take away from this information, if I'm being honest? What would be your takeaway, Michael? Is that there's always more that for me, it's always there's more that meets the eye. There's unfair amounts.
Yeah.
It makes it almost non-existent to be competitive. Of course, you're trying to fill your positions. Canadians are pissed off because they're not being paid properly. They probably most of them probably don't even know about these jobs that are paying this type of money, and if they are, there's another piece of that pie that no one's talking about.
Yeah.
Or it's 100%, bait and switch. Um, the other part of it is that Canadians are looking like Canadians that are either been here and identify as Canadian, not like people that say like, "Oh, I'm from here, but I'm living in Canada." There's
Right.
a difference. But people who
Yeah.
are Canadian that look at what people that are coming in are being paid and subsidized at, and they're going, "What the fuck am I even doing this for?
Right.
I'm paying for you to have a better income than me? Get
Yep.
fucked."
Or better health benefits, which is another one.
Right?
So we touched on that loosely on the last podcast, whereas like you want to get a job, you probably want health benefits, right? Even though I have free healthcare in Canada, right? That we all pay taxes into. But like things like optical, dental, all that other type of stuff that you need to get a job that now has that coverage for you, your kids, blah blah blah, right? Because say they're not young enough to be covered and they're not old enough to be covered, right? So in that middle ground, when you need your teeth the most and you need to see the most, right? Like,
Right?
but it's not covered, so you want to get a benefits package. But these employers that are bringing people in from other countries, that now they get it covered by the government. So now they don't have to have benefits for Canadians inside of their business. So it's drawing a line of, a two-tiered medical system,
Yeah.
which is, I think, really ugly. Because
Yeah.
that was
And
the
the
whole
more
point. Well, we can't let privatized healthcare exist because then you're gonna have a two-tier medical system. Well, you guys just created a two-tier medical system
Mhm. Yeah.
that we're paying for. So it's like a little tiny private one that's for not Canadians because we are paying
Maybe
for
we
it. So
should
doesn't
go
that make it a
somewhere
little
for
bit
a
of a
year or
private
2
one?
and come back and be not Canadian.
Right? Like it makes me go like, how do I give up my citizenship so I can just get free medical and dental?
I volunteer for tribute of the
You're
150.
right. Yeah, like take it. Done. No problem.
Fucking Christ. Um, yeah, kinda gross. It's
Mm,
obviously we're gonna have to have another chat about this one for sure, because I'm sure a lot of people are probably really upset about this. And it's funny because, we always talk about our veterans, we talk about the less fortunate, the minority groups, whatnot. And I came across a reel today that talked about, and you have talked to me about this, Michael. I don't know if we actually have it somewhere in the podcast, but we talked about the MAID program. And there was a
yeah.
veteran that came on. She was talking from Nova Scotia, and she had said that Canada, the Canadian government is gross. They don't help them. They either drug them or, try to fucking make everything go away. They don't actually help veterans after they come back from Afghanistan. The suicide rate is so incredibly high. They don't log those numbers because that wouldn't be a good look. And then she
Yeah.
said, and now a lot of them are being approached by the MAIDS program. And I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, that's your fucking answer? Like kill with passion or like honorary killings or whatever the fuck
Well,
you're
it's
calling it?
again, it's a financial line item, right?
Ugh.
We could, help you in dying over here, or we could keep you alive and pay a lot more money. So crazy statistic. By the end of 2024, a cumulative total of 76,475 people have received MAID in Canada.
How many of them do you think required MAID? Because let's be realistic,
Right.
Michael. Let's be
Yeah.
realistic. If I was someone who was suffering and I knew
Mhm.
I was going to be at a point where I was no longer of sound in mind and I was going to be a burden to my kids, I would ask for mates. I would. I
Yeah.
would have that signed up so that my kids didn't have to deal with that. So how many in your opinion, or can we actually research? I don't think we can, 'cause that's medical system, that's medical care. But how many do you think would have qualified for what maids was really designed for?
If I had to guess, I wouldn't even say half. Like, I mean, but it's just a guess. Like, I
Mhm.
have no idea. But I do know that, like, my mom, she's older, right? And I know a lot of other people in elder care and stuff like that that you just get this offered. Like, they don't go in asking about it. They'll be offered it. Like, hey, have you thought about death?
Usually when that conversation comes up, it's like, "Do you have your will in order?"
Right. There was a lady who was trying to get funding to get a ramp done at her house. And so during that funding conversation was, have you thought about death? What? What? Like, it's such a weird thing.
It
And you're
really
just like, I don't.
it is. It is. Like, so as a 45-year-old woman, single
Mm,
mother, have I thought about death? Of course I have. You
sure.
know, I had a brush with cancer. I've had a will for years. So I think about death in that way. If something's going to happen to me, I want to make sure that the people that are left behind have what they need in order to succeed in some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah.
when I talk about death for me as a younger person, I talk about death from a standpoint of anything could happen, Michael. I'm not like, yeah, I might be a little bit of a I might need some more care. I might need some more this, some more that. It's going to cost taxpayers more money because of the things I need. I'm looking at it from a perspective of, do I get hit by a bus? Do I get into a massive car collision?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like freak accidents that happen or accidents that happen where I maybe can't come back from. Right. So those
Yep.
are things that I think about. So when you sit there and you tell me that people reach basically a certain age and then all of a sudden they're getting in the mail, hey, have you thought about dying? Is fucking gross. I'd almost be like, have you been thinking about dying?
Like that. And I mean, I understand a lot of people struggle with mental health, but instead of trying to fix mental health, they're now going to be offering maids for it.
Right.
That's
Like,
that's that's craziness. Like, you
there's
suffer from what? Sadness? Have you thought about death?
obviously they're sad.
Obviously, they have mental health problems. Yes.
Fuck.
So the question is, now are you pushing somebody who has
Mhm,
mental health problems into something that maybe they wouldn't have had the capacity to even think about, but now you've put it on the table as we can help you do that.
mhm,
That's giving somebody a loaded gun.
mm,
And then you claim that you're not responsible for it?
100%. You already know that they're in the mental state of taking their
Mhm.
own life.
Yeah.
So now they can live like it's they're playing God. They're saying,
Yeah.
"Listen, you don't have to go to hell by taking your own life. We're gonna send you to heaven." Like, you're the fucking executioner at this point. Like, why be so fucking civilized about it? Why don't you just get a guillotine?
Yeah, just do it.
Fuck.
But like this whole track two idea of like having another way in. And the thing is, I I've read it a lot. I've not been able to confirm it 100%, although it has shown up in some of the literature about dropping the age.
About what? Dropping the
About
age. We
dropping the
talked
age.
about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Hmm. I mean, like, I'm spitballing here, but what if we stopped paying people 85,000 to 150,000 and started implementing more of that money into, I don't know, let's say, mental health?
Right.
I don't know.
But
Maybe.
not mental health built on bureaucracy, right? Where it's like the government has all these people chewing up the money before it actually gets there, right? So like the homelessness problem, it's the same thing, or unhoused or whatever they want to call it these days, right?
You need
Still
to
the
tell me
same
that
thing.
the government doesn't have fucking mental health? Give me a break.
Like, yeah, like just figure it, sort it. So you know what you do? There's lots of people, lots of small companies
Mhm.
that handle mental health stuff locally, grassroots, on the ground. Spend that money directly to them, right? Like you could, I mean, I'd say you could build something for it, like actually make it like web apt, but we know we know how much they overspend building any sort of technological things. So that's
I know
probably
they
not a
should
good
hire you. They'd save so much money.
idea. Plus, it's like the whole COVID app thing, right? That we're like, what happened with that money, guys? Come on, that's ridiculous.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. It is what it is. I agree with you. We were supposed to talk about burnout, but we've
Yeah.
run out of time.
We run out of time. Okay, so we'll make a focused one just on burnout.
Yeah, we'll do a focus one next week on burnout. But these are good topics because I think a lot of Canadians feel this way. It's like, why are our veterans being pushed aside? Especially people who had a veteran that committed suicide, have a veteran that's out on the street, have a veteran. They know one, they understand. Like, I mean, I don't have to know a whole bunch of veterans to know that this is bullshit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we do have a brain in our head. But when it comes to the mental health sector, I find it amusing that people who have mental health tend to be some of the wealthiest people.
Mhm.
It's not the poor. Mental health doesn't care how much money you make, but if you
No.
go and talk to people who have quite a bit of money, there's a lot of mental health concerns. There's high anxiety, there's depression, there's image issues, there's like they're on Xanax, they're on fucking like what is it called?
Lithium.
What's it? I can't remember the word. What's it called? Ativan?
Yeah.
Ativan. Ativan's everybody's favorite friend.
No.
You know what
I
Ativan
don't
is,
like
yeah?
any pharma. I don't like any pharma, nothing.
I'm like, "Listen, just take some gabapentin and call it a day."
I think I could probably still take like infants Tylenol and it would still work for me because I think I've taken Tylenol twice in my life.
Listen, I already know how to take you out, I just feed you vegetables.
That's true. That is true. Stupid vegetables.
Stupid vegetables. Fuck those vegetables, Lisa.
Stop stealing my food. Oh,
Oh my god, you just upset all the vegans. And then funny, Greg is
mm,
so fucking dark. He goes to me, "So listen, I was thinking, just hear me out." And I'm like, "Oh god, this is gonna go
oh God.
badly." And he goes, "If all the animals died,
Mhm.
technically vegans are the next closest thing. So technically, would we be cannibals? Because they are technically eating like a cow and we
Mm,
like cows. So I mean, they're kind of doing us a service." And I was like,
right.
"Greg, like, did you just hear yourself?" He's like, "Hear me out. Like,
I'm just
I'm just
thinking.
spitballing." Like,
Yeah.
like you fucking I'm like, "You're so funny, bro." He's fucking hilarious. Some of the shit that comes out of his mouth just fucking I'm
Like, where do you
telling you.
come up with this? What made you think about this? I don't know. It's just that, I was at a yoga class and they all look delicious.
I all of a sudden got hungry and it wasn't for anything other than food.
Right.
I went to a yoga class where you were staring at their butts. How much
Mm,
meat? I need a meat content, meat portion ratio, you know?
that
Like
it's actually funny.
that
I
one
didn't
would have a
expect us
good
to
fat
talk.
back and that one would be extra lean.
I didn't expect us to talk about mental health today, but funny enough, I did wear this sweater, the "You Are Enough" sweater.
Oh, I love that.
I love this sweater. I get a lot of people like I'll turn around because it's got the whole like dear person behind me thing,
Mhm.
and I'll turn around and sometimes people are just smiling.
Aw. But that's why
Right?
they
You're
make
just like,
those shirts, right?
yeah,
Sometimes
and they're
people need to
so
be told they're
comfortable.
enough, and they are enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Greg, you're enough.
Greg, you're enough.
Greg,
Your
you're too
jokes are
much.
terrible, but you're enough.
Fucking hilarious. Okay. So we'll wrap up for today. We will come back and we will talk about burnout because I think it's a
Burnout.
big thing that goes on in industries, especially in trades industry is burnout.
Mhm.
So yeah. So we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, everybody have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll catch you on the flip side and don't do anything crazy.